shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java with a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Spinning in the breeze, stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning whiz and coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning whiz is always best. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.
Good morning, everybody. How are you doing this morning? Just a second. That's much better. We just had to get that out there. What a day it is. Good morning, Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. It is good to see you, Magic Angel. We got Zach. Got Tammy Bugard. Good to see you. Good to see you, Elka. Good to see you, Margaret. Oh, yeah, Margaret. How you doing? How you doing? A beautiful day. It is a beautiful day. It is indeed. You know, nothing like waking up with a nice, fresh cup of coffee in the morning, just to drown out all of the tears from last night. So good. Oh my gosh, what do we have for you this morning? Well, first I got to do a couple of things here just to make sure everything's running smooth. Sometimes that happens where it just ends up, you forget things in the middle of the night. And whenever you do that, you're just like, why is everything not working like it should? Let me get turn that on. There we go. Save that. There we are. Shizzy, thanks for the last night, and it was a blast. And thank you for. I'm glad you stayed too. Yes, last night we got Tammy Bugard a song. We did one for Gabby. She's got a birthday coming up, and of course we also did one for Roseman Ranch, which was probably one of the best things about her golden box. Hey. Just saying, we have to have a little bit of fun. Here. You know, there's too much divisiveness in this here country, and you'll see quite a bit of it over the next few weeks, because they're already saying it's gonna take about 13 days after the election. You'll know the election results, but it's really screwy whenever news stations mess up, like ABC, and they show you these kinds of things. Just imagine you get something like this that comes happening. This came from the New York Post. ABC mistakenly airs election results declaring, uh-oh, says easily winning the key swing state by more than a week after election day. Look right there. You see that? Shocking results popped up at the bottom of the screen during the October 27th broadcast of the Formula One Mexico Grand Prix by ABC local affiliate WNEP TV. Whoa. So they're getting a bunch of backlash over that. How would that happen right there? Saying 100% reporting with 3 million? No, that can't be right. That has to be a lie. That would never happen. It showed capturing 52%. WNEP TV said that the results came up on the screen in error and that they had been randomly generated as part of a test ahead of the November 5th election. Oh, yeah. How would it have a test? So that means they've got to really change things here. ABC's going to be doing a little bit of work to make that happen. Yep, that's the ticket. It was an accident. Yes. And of course, in the 2020 election, Joe Biden eked out a victory in Pennsylvania by the narrowest margins, beating Trump by 80,505 votes, or 1.17. Wow and wow and wow. So what do you think is going to happen? 100% votes come in. Those are the numbers you end up with. Well, you can always come back and refer to it here, election night, because that's where we're going to be. We're going to be covering the election on election night, and we're going to watch things come rolling in, at least for the night. But then, of course, we'll have another almost 2 weeks after that before you'll have the results in from certain counties in certain states. So don't get your hopes up. Don't get your hopes up about anything. Just do your best. Get out there, vote for your candidate, whatever that candidate might be, left, right, center. It don't matter. Get out and vote, because that number really counts. That number really counts. Don't be like the AP. Don't be like the AP, because the AP really wants this to happen for you. They thrive off of this. They thrive off of this. Americans are anxious and frustrated about the presidential campaign. This is just one of their polls. Sure. And of course, they have to report this from Washington, because if you go to the rest of the country, most people are just like, yeah, we vote, or we voted, or we're going to vote, but they ain't going to change our why would I stress over it? I got somebody getting elected isn't going to change my stress level. I mean, think about it. How does it affect your daily life? Now, I can understand big whole grand scheme of things, but it doesn't change where you work. It doesn't change what you get paid where you work. It may affect your food prices later on down the road, but immediately it shouldn't change your life whatsoever. You should be happy, full of joy. Isn't this the party of joy right now? Yeah, I did see that. Did you hear that the Dodgers won? Yes, the Dodgers won. The Dodgers won. How you doing? Good morning. Good morning, Melody. How you doing, Margaret? I'll always say, if you don't vote, you can't complain, and how things turn out. Absolutely. That is absolutely correct. If you don't get out and vote, you can't complain about it. Well, you can complain about it, but, it's about as useful as not complaining. Most Americans are feeling a lot of emotions heading into Election Day. But excitement is not one of them. I don't know where you're at there. Whoever this writer is, what's their name? Let's see. What's their name? Lindley. Oh, I see why. Lindley is a poll and survey reporter. She delves and writes about polls conducted by the AP. Okay, Lindley. So Lindley's must be not excited about going in. She must know that her candidate is losing and poorly. Well, this new poll that she studies finds about 7 inches. 10 Americans feel anxious or frustrated about the 24 election campaign in Washington. Good morning, Will Call Magic. How you doing? Only about 1/3 feel excited. There's a broad feeling of uncertainty hanging over the 24 presidential contest during the last week of the campaign. The race is competitive nationally and in key swing states, according to recent polls, with neither Democrat camel toe nor Republican the dumpster fire himself, Donald Trump, showing measurable advantage. And at the same time, the candidates have offered closing arguments that are in stark contrast with each other, with Harris arguing with herself, standing in front of a mirror. She's saying that Trump is obsessed with revenge and his own personal needs. What revenge? Why would they say revenge? Do you think Trump is seeking revenge? I think he's just more like, let's just get this over with. You know what's going to happen. You know how this is going down. Good morning, Roxanne. Good morning. While Trump referred to Harris at a rally Sunday night as a train wreck who has destroyed everything in her path. Oh my gosh. Some groups are even more anxious. Why are more groups more anxious than others? Well, we've got all these people in Washington. They're running around like chickens with their head cut off. They're just flailing around because they don't know what they're going to do come January 1. Because they're probably going to be looking for a new job. Interesting, isn't it? Okay, even though that election took place in the midst of a pandemic, deadly pandemic at that. In 2020, an AP NORC poll found about 2/3 of Americans were anxious about the election, which is not statistically significant at all for any reason whatsoever. Because for Christ's sake, it's just a poll. You probably ask, are you anxious about the election? People are like, I'm so anxious. But for partisans, anxiety's dialed up a little higher. Really, on which side of the aisle? Because it sounds to me like the ones on one side of the aisle are just going, all we gotta do is just keep spreading the word. The ones on the other side are like, I wish we had a word to spread. About 8 in 10 Dems say anxious describes how they're feeling now. Yeah, anxious is totally how I feel, man. Like, I'm totally anxious. It's dialed up a little higher. About 8 inches, 10 Democrats say anxious describes how they're feeling now. Up slightly from around 3/4 of an inch in the last election. About 2/3 of an inch, Republicans are anxious. A moderate uptick from 6 inches, 10 in 2020. I'm going to read these like measurements. It sounds so much funnier whenever you do. Independents, by contrast, haven't shifted meaningfully. They're also feeling less worried than Democrats or Republicans. About 1/2 an inch say they're anxious, similar to finding in 2020. Other emotions have gotten more intense. More intense. So intense. Compared to past election cycles, including excitement, jubilation, joy. About 1 1/3 of an inch of Americans report feeling excited. Yeah, it's just sort of like they're measuring weens out there going, hey, you seem more excited than the last guy. Does camel toe leave you feeling a little limp? Inject a little more dick sealant on your day. It sounds like they need to get some dick gardener. Good morning, Tease T. How are you doing? Good morning. Happy spooky day. Spooky day. That's right. Today is the Halloweens. Oh, a bunch of Halloweenies gonna be out today. Oh, it's gonna be a fun one. I was wondering what I was gonna do tonight. Now I know. I'm gonna stay away from the front door. Yeah. Stay away from the front door because Thursday. What is today? Thursday. Yeah, trash recycling. I took it out. Damn it. I'm sitting there trying to remember. Yes, I took my trash and recycling out this morning. Thank you, chat, for reminding me, by the way. About 1 in 3 Americans report feeling excited. Oh, so many inches are growing right now, but a majority of Americans say they are not excited. All this excitement. One thing has stayed fairly constant, though. Americans' level of frustration with the campaign. Roughly 7 inches 10, Americans say, describes their emotional state. For those Americans, though, there's light on the horizon. Soon, in a couple of weeks, the election will be over. About 3 weeks. Folks, you only have about 3 weeks before the election's finally over. Before it all comes in. Before it hits you in the face. Oh my gosh. Oh, how many times do you think they'll make mistakes? Oh. But it could be that people just aren't finding the humor in all of this. Like U.S. voters hear a stark message in the presidential race. The country's fate is on the line. Dun dun dun. Charlottesville, Virginia. Few elections in the nation's history have provided such a divide as this year's. Well, I mean, I think maybe, the right before the War of Northern Aggression and during the War of Northern Aggression, after the War of Northern Aggression, I would say, those were probably, some of the most contentious times, or those times of war. Those might have had things to do with being a little worried about things, but hey, I don't feel. Here's the thing: I don't feel any of the divide. Where everybody's saying, "Oh, we're so divisive. It's so divided. America's so divided." You know what? I really don't believe that. I don't believe that people are divided. What is that? National Chocolate Day. No, today is National Watch Your Kids Spaz Out until the wee hours of the morning day. Oh, but the crash is so hard. So what's the point? Oh, yeah. Gifted oh my gosh, Tease T. Gifted 10 memberships to you unsuspecting people. Holy cow, who do we have that's got all of these up here? We've got Tease T gifting 10 memberships. It's Margaret Terry Smith, Gigi Dilligoff, Isaac Black, Peggy McLean, Ashley Shows Up, Jean O'Rourke. Oh, I love it. Paula McPhee, Darlene S., and Teresa Elliott all were gifted memberships. That is so nice of you, Tease T. How can I make this up to you? I think you need a little bit of love, little bit of this.
Nice.
Oh my.
Yeah, thank you, Tease T, for the gift of memberships, making him feel some love. It's always appreciated, always appreciated. Whiz coming up on the end of the month. Oh my gosh, that's right. Today is the last day of the month, which means tomorrow I can be throwing some of those new free memberships out at people. So how sweet it is. Yes, thank you so very much, and that is so kind of you. Well, the fate of the country and whether it can hold its democratic moorings. Well, I hope that the democratic moorings get kicked loose. That's really what I hope. Your cat jumped. He played the cat. It was hilarious. Love it. I love it. It's Halloween. Everybody is so much excite. So much excite. Oh my gosh, there is so much excite. But Max, aren't you like being hit with all these rains and Japan is flooding out? Isn't that what's happening? Isn't that what's happening? The floods are happening in Max's hometown. Oh, he is underwater. He is underwater. I can tell it. I can feel it. I can feel that he is underwater. Yeah, oh, that's funny, Max. You sent that to me because I've seen it also. I've already shown it. I'm so much excited. Max Mara, how are you? A great stream today. Oh yes, we gotta have a great stream. Good to see you, Linda Carter. I haven't seen you in a little while. Much love. I feel the love. Feel the love. Feel the pain. October 31st is also a 41st birthday of famous male adult video actor who is also a captain. Captain Ukraine. Ah, yes. As they cast their ballots. Don't cast their ballots because remember, we're not a democracy. We are a constitutional republic. Voters have opinions on the divide as diverse and complex as the nation itself. That's not true. See, whenever people are casting their votes, they're casting for the person they think is going to do the best job for America. It doesn't matter if you're on the left or the right in this. I mean, if you're on the left, you're wrong, but it doesn't matter. You're still looking for the best way for America to be staying America, to stay as a constitutional republic where everybody is treated fairly and justly. Everyone has the same rights, and those rights aren't infringed upon by our government. I don't see any great divide with that at all. I think that every single American that is voting, we're not talking about them illegals, we're talking about Americans that are voting, they all want the same damn thing. What's best for America? What's best for their country? Now, if they don't, then they're just happy to take their ass back to whence it is they came from and vote there. Perhaps no place captures this range of perspective more clearly than Charlottesville, Virginia. I doubt that. You have to remember that Charlottesville, just like Virginia, has its own issues. It was once a meeting place for the founding fathers who cautioned about the dangers of political demagoguery. Now that's more. There's more than that. That's not what they were talking about. The founding fathers were talking about something much different than this writer can absolutely understand. It's amazing how they want to take it completely wrong. It was also the site of that Unite the Right rally, first year of Donald Trump's presidency. But what would happen at the Unite the Right? What was it that happened? Huh? What was it that happened there? If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong on this, that there were Americans that came and started tearing down statues, and another group of people said this is not appropriate. Because where does it end whenever you start tearing down statues? Does it end here in Charlottesville, Virginia, or does it go all the way into Washington when they start tearing down monuments there. You know, we've seen this happen before. I'm trying to remember. Wasn't this during China's revolution that they did this? They came in, they tore down the statues, all remembrance of the history of China. Haven't we seen this before, where they went in and they started deleting people because they didn't agree, send them off to camps, do this in front of people because there was a disagreement. I do remember that there was something about that in the history books. The history books, they just like to whitewash and say, "Oh, this never happened." See, if you're wondering why there's a divide, it's not because a bunch of neo-Yazis and white supremacists happen to be there, because those assholes should be condemned, no different than these free Palestinian assholes should be condemned. Coming in and destroying schools, putting people's lives at risk, assaulting someone because they happen to be Jewish. Yeah, you remember these that we had to watch during the summer, where they went into colleges and started protesting and destroying college campuses because they didn't agree. And it's odd to me that whenever you talk about this, they're unleashing they're saying racist and anti-Semitic violence, and you're saying the white supremacists and the neo-Yazis are doing this. Why is it that these groups haven't banded up together? If they have the same common goal of, eliminating a certain race or something like that, it seems to me like these are the same people. Just saying. Look into it a little bit closer. Oh, that's right. They wear masks to cover their face. Why do they do that? Are they ashamed? They ashamed of their horrible beliefs, their horrid behavior? I think that's probably what it is. Or it could be that it might be the same group of people. You never know. You never know what exactly is causing them to act a fool. But Donald Trump had a very, very, very a lot to say about that. He wasn't appreciative of people coming in doing things because, as he said, there were people that didn't want those statues torn down. Good people. There were people that were more about having a conversation on the other side. Those are good people. It was the ones that were on the extreme ends of that caused all the problems. They chanted these horrible things as they marched through the streets carrying tiki torches and Confederate flags. It's really amazing to me that none of those folks were lambasted for that. One rally goer plowed his car into a crowd of counter-protesters and deleted a woman, injuring dozens more. And that was on him. And that person should be treated to the extent that the law can be enforced against him. But instead, the Democrats took this as an opportunity to go after Donald Trump. They decided to become divisive in this. It wasn't the Republicans that became divisive in it. It was the Democrats. They were just waiting for something to happen. There's a reason why I told all my friends that were wanting to go down to the Capitol, well, actually up to the Capitol, because I live in the South, wanted to go up to the Capitol to hear Donald Trump speak. I said, I've got no interest going. Quite a few friends wanted to do that. I said, no, there's something not right about going up there. I said, it seems a little sketchy to me. It seems like Like everybody's got some sort of pressure cooker because they're wanting to. You got people that are wanting to redress the country, and there's going to be too many people out there because of, well, the color of my skin. They're going to be prejudging, thinking that I might hold certain beliefs. Doesn't mean that it's true. But why would I go to a state that despises me? Why would I want to go to another place? Besides, I'm not allowed to carry a firearm and protect myself. Why would I want to go there? What purpose does that serve for me? What purpose would it serve for me to go to Washington? It makes no sense. So something doesn't feel right. If you want to go. But I think there's something shady going on there. I think they're setting this up for something. And I'll be damned if I wasn't sitting here with my wife while I was at work watching that stuff happen. That shit didn't go south. Whenever it went south, I was like, there's that just you can't do that. Just like you can't do this.
Hey, Riding Hood, want to be eaten by the big bad wolf?
Fuck you, new bomb.
Maximara.
Hey, how are you?
How are you doing, brother?
Good. Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, can hear you just fine.
Oh, good. Yeah, it's Halloween here. I'm not going out though. I had work to do. So. Well,
you have to do that every so often.
Yeah, but I was kind of looking forward to it. They kind of shut down Halloween around the Shibuya area because, then I just got this message, and I don't know. There's a tech company, and they're hosting a Halloween party at the Hilton in Tokyo, and I thought, I could have gone to that, but Oh, I didn't send you. I got there's a kind of an Oktoberfest sort of thing going on in one of the parks.
Oh, is it?
And my friend,
check it out.
They have. You got to see this. Damn it! How can I send it to you? Okay. Oh, I put it in too. And the first photo that my friend sent me was it was just a really nice, just a food stall, that you normally get, right?
Yeah.
And I'll send it to you on Discord because I don't know how to share it with you. But the first one was this food, just like a taco, a food truck.
Oh,
and it's nice. And I said, "Oh, that's really nice." But then he said, "Wait a minute, there's something lost in translation, and it pertains to you." And I said, "What could that be? I wonder what it is."
Let me see.
And you got to go in closer because you got to read the English. So I said, "Aha!" When you see the second photo, I mean, they're nachos.
Second photo.
They're nachos, but with a twist.
We talking about? Oh, let's see. So you got a second photo you're sending me?
Yeah. And then I said,
nachos. No. Okay. I'm looking. I don't see fried shrimp. It says something schnitzel.
Okay. Look at the second photo I sent you.
Okay. Oh my gosh, I see it. I see exactly what you've got. Yeah, I know exactly what's about to
I know. It's lost in translation, So I said,
oh my god.
And then the third photo I sent you is just a stock photo of somebody, and I said, like this.
Yeah.
And what he said
I saw that. Oh my god. Oh my gosh.
And what he said, word for me, he admitted to me. He said, quote, I did, quote, not see that coming.
Not see that coming.
Yeah. Kind of spicy.
Oh my gosh. These people, man.
And remember, it's not just Halloween, but it's an Oktoberfest German sort of thematic, right? So
yeah. Yeah, you don't want to do that. I'm not showing that last picture. That's going to get me in trouble.
No, it's just the spelling,
Yeah, I know. The last one will oh my god.
So there was excitement in South Korea. And
What happened in South Korea today?
oh, you know that Johnny Somali feller, eh?
Yeah, I heard about that. That he got his ass clubbed.
Yeah. Yes, he did. But I mean, in the past 48 hours, twice, you know. Um,
Oh,
and
oh,
what I kind of respect, I give you a thread stream. The first time was maybe 2 nights ago. There were a group of Koreans, but I what I respect about them is they went after three people: Johnny Somali, this other guy Gino, and this Korean. They say he's a Korean American, but he's actually a Korean named Hank Yu. He called himself like a Asian Nazi, but it was kind of funny because the guy who attacked all three of them was one person, and they held to you only do one on one. And in his case, he was willing to do one on three. You know, they don't believe in 3-on-1. And so I thought, oh, this guy's cool. He's a real Chad. Did a flying kick. You know, I mean, all these Korean guys, they did at minimum 2 years of military service, right?
yeah,
And they all get their little. I don't really like Taekwondo. I think it's kind of useless. But if you're using your flying kicks against someone who doesn't know how to fight, yeah, it works. You know.
oh yeah,
But this
yeah,
Korean guy came out with a sword. I thought it was a baton. He came out with a sword, but he's holding it like a total tard, like you know how those unrealistic katas, like, and I'm going to
yeah,
hold a knife, and then you do that. You know, you don't do that. If you're going to do something, you're going to, you know. But the
yeah.
guy's holding this long sword out there, so the Chad takes him down, beats him up. But then today, Johnny's getting out of the police station, and so it turns out this guy was in the Rock Navy an underwater demolition team. So it's the rock equivalent of a Navy SEAL. So he's been
Jesus.
looking for the guy. He comes out, and unfortunately, he only hits him once because he's right outside the cop station. And he doesn't mind. He's just like, and it's funny
Yeah.
because the guy doesn't speak English. He's just going, hey, he goes, Somali, good night, boy, good night. And so, of course, he got arrested too, but
Yeah.
you know, these Korean Netzians, they gave him I don't know how much 5 million won is. It's about $30,000. They raised $30,000 because they figure if you're going to require legal fees, you know, they all
Yeah.
donate. So it's kind of I sent you a thread app that has some of this stuff on it, but
Oh my
it was kind of interesting.
God.
But I looked at this guy named Hank Yu Yoo, and you think he's Korean American. He's not. In 2018 or 2017, he was arrested and indicted and convicted and sentenced on 7 counts of lying on the ATF form 4473. Because you
Oh,
see, he was a legal permanent resident of the United States, what you call a green card. But on the
yeah.
form, they asked, "Are you a U.S. citizen?" And he lied 7 times. He said he was a U.S. citizen. And oh, this is the incident that happened today, I think. Yeah.
They found Johnny Somali and turned off their
Yeah.
stream, so either Johnny doesn't see them coming or they turned it off to give
Yeah,
him
yeah,
a
because he was
beat.
monitoring their streams, and so he was at a pizza place apparently, and he realized they were coming, so he got out of there. So this time they kind of oh, in any event, so this tard lied 7 times on his ATF form, and there was an eighth count that was overturned because it was something like this legal genius called the Franks motion. No, I'm kidding. Um, I don't know how it got overturned, but he had also lied that he had in 2013 and 2015 he'd been involuntarily committed to a mental institution in New Jersey. But anyways, here's the thing. Someone reminded me. If he had truthfully stated that he was a legal permanent resident of the United States, he could have gotten his firearms. It wasn't
Yeah.
necessary to lie, yet he did. He lied that he was a U.S. citizen, and that's why he's a
Hmm.
Class A felon. You know, he served more. He didn't serve the entire 10 years, but he got out, and then as soon as he got out, was released from prison. This guy Hank Yu was deported. He was stripped of his permanent residency, and he was deported back to South Korea. And then I guess he's hanging around with Johnny Somali. Oh,
Mm.
the Thread app is really interesting. I really like that
It
feature.
is. It is. My gosh. Yeah, I'd play the. I'd play the video, but that might be promoting violence, and we don't promote violence here.
Yeah. It's you
Yeah.
gotta watch out sometimes. You get, something comes up and they don't like it. But anyway, it's just kind of funny because I thought, wow, this is kind of interesting. I'm surprised though because yeah, it's just kind of entertaining to hear about where Johnny Somali has been. I mean, he's been to Israel. He was here in Japan, as you know. He went to Israel. Um, and but what he's doing is he's this
He's
is how he
inciting
makes his
shit.
money. He's willing to do that. Except he got his YouTube channels canceled.
Yeah,
So
as he should.
When
As
you
he
cut
should,
off their
because
source of
he's
funding, it's like terrorists. Then what are they going to do?
well. I mean, here's the thing: if you're going out and you're stirring up stuff in other countries and you're breaking the law, now that I think YouTube should take that stuff down.
Well, it's the same thing in the U.S. in domestic TikTok. Those people who are doing things for pranks on purpose. We know the case where in Virginia where some guy was harassing a Uber delivery guy. The guy pulled out a firearm, and he was acquitted. Yeah, he was acquitted.
Yeah.
Um.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you're messing around with people, and it's you're taking away any rights that they have or expect, and I don't know how it is in other countries, but I would think that other countries might be a little more stricter whenever you're messing around.
Yeah. I mean, we played. Did you ever play? It depends on where you grew up in the United States.
Right.
You could call it Nicky Nicky Nine Doors. You can call it Ding Dong Ditch or things like that.
Yeah.
When you ring somebody's doorbell and you run away.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Just nowadays, I don't think it's a good idea because some people.
Some people got issues.
Sometimes overdo it, and sometimes adults don't see the humor in it, and
Right.
and they're not entitled to. It's not self-defense, but there have been people who've been shot.
Yes, because you're, like I said, you're disturbing people, and just let people alone. I mean, it sounds like fun. I mean, if you want to have some fun, call up a couple of Chinese restaurants and put them on speakerphone.
Oh. Some of the really clever ones, or you get a Vietnamese and you put them on, and then you put the phones together.
Mm-hmm.
I remember in the 90s there were these guys called not the Beastie Boys. That's a rap group.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. It was the Jersey Boy guys that
the Freaky, what are they called? Freaky something.
Oh,
and they had some great voices. They had like Frank. This is Frank Frisco. Open your ears, jackass.
Yeah.
And then they had Saul, and I just your son told me I could come over and tan my pasty white ass on his nude beach. And he's talking to the guy's mother, and I think they're real. I don't know if they were staged, but they were pretty funny.
It was the Jerky Boys. It was the Jerky Boys.
It was
the Jerky Boys. Yeah, it was the Jerky Boys. They used to do that stuff all the time.
Funny, but
no.
But the pranks, the CD was great. But
oh yeah. But out of and they even said this, out of the thousands and thousands of calls that they would make, it would take so long to hit those ones where you get people that would like slap back. You could get the argument. That's what they were after, is getting those people upset at one another. I mean, whenever I worked at a pizza joint, whenever you get bored, like it'd be slow or something, we call it a Waffle House, and we had the ability to put them on conference call, and then and then put it on speaker. So what we do is we call up two Waffle Houses. You dial the number, then you put it on conference. You dial the other number, and then you put it on conference, and then they would both start dialing at the same time. And they would usually pick up about after the second or third ring. Both of them would pick up and be like, "Waffle House, how can I help you? Waffle House, how can I help you? I'm on the phone. No, I'm on the phone. What can I do for you? This store, blah, blah, blah." And they'd just start having this conversation. Then we start doing it to Chinese restaurants. Like, what's really funny is whenever they're sitting there, they figure out that they know each other.
Oh, yeah.
And they all of a sudden just like, "Huh? Is this Lin Lin?" Yes, Linda. Hey, how you? And then he's just breaking into Chinese. You can't understand what they're saying. You're just like, well, that was no fun.
You know what? I didn't. Um, I never really grew up around Chinese food. I knew that in the States, for example, I think it might have to do with Jewish law or Sabbath. But anyways, I always knew that if you're in New York, Jews love Chinese food. But
Hmm.
I was never. I remember I was doing an extended stay in the UK, and the place was a small town, Newbury, and I really didn't. It was funny because there was this Chinese Singaporean woman. She was a partner from Cooper's Liar Brand accounting firm, but she was kind of. I just didn't want to go with the Japanese colleagues because they were kind of uncreative. They just wanted to go for the closest thing to Japanese food, which is a Chinese restaurant. So I just said, I kind of just said I don't like Chinese food. And so this older woman, she was so nice. She was so concerned that I didn't like Chinese food. So she dragged me to it was a small town, small family Chinese immigrants
Yeah.
in the UK. And then what she did was magic. She just ordered totally off menu. She spoke Chinese and bang. And I was sitting there going, I can't say I love this too much because I wanted to keep doing it. So I said, yeah, okay, you know. But it was the best meal. And I also knew I'm not going to get this the next time I come because I don't speak, you know. But it was
Chinese.
great. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
that was a great experience. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's interesting here because you got Chinese restaurants that a lot of times they're owned by Vietnamese
Oh, yeah.
and Korean. I mean, it's not uncommon for that to happen because pretty much you get oh look Americans so stupid you can't tell the difference between Japanese,
okay.
Chinese, Korean. They're just
worse.
like food.
Okay.
It's rice and meat and vegetables.
So if you grow up in Japan or you know what Japanese food is, then you're going to know what what unauthentic Japanese food is. And so when I was at Georgetown, right across the Key Bridge in Arlington, there was a Japanese restaurant. And my classmates were going, "Hey, Max, you got to go there. It's great. It's great. They got these great tuna rolls and everything." And I was going like, I don't know. So I went there. And what I realized immediately, it was Vietnamese, like you said. And the reason why they're going to do it, if you're with certain price points, if they're doing Vietnamese or especially Koreans, you're going to be able to get a certain price point because people expect it. But then if it's Japanese and say Japanese restaurants, they can charge more. So a lot of them actually, there's a significant number of Koreans and then some Chinese who would open up Japanese restaurants in the U.S. because they can charge a kind of a premium. Anyways, I went there and it was pretty bad. It was, but it was pretty bad because it was like this super spicy tuna roll, which it was just off. It was um, and the guy was going the waiter. He was enthusiastic. I didn't want to hurt his feelings. He goes, "Hey, isn't it great?" And I go, "Yeah, it's okay." But then I tried to explain to someone. I said, "What if you went to something that you're used to? Say you're from North Carolina or South Carolina, and you pulled pork, and somebody instead of the mustard and the stuff that you expect to go with that, somebody puts I don't know chocolate sauce or or
Kimchi.
peanut butter, and they're like
Kimchi on it.
Yeah,
Kimchi on pulled pork. You're like, what the hell? This
doesn't go.
Translate.
I mean, yeah, it just clashes. So I kind of. But there's certain things, when you get Japanese food, or I noticed like in Japan, Korean barbecue is really popular. It's kind of like the Mexican food of for Japanese. It's cheap,
Right.
it's good, it's tasty. But here's the thing: it's not. It's just like Mexican Tex-Mex food. It's not real Mexican food. It's really not
Right.
Korean. So when you go to Korea, then you're going, holy shit! It's different. They're
Yeah.
both are good. And actually in the States, I'll even like I don't know nowadays, but as a student, I like the fact that Taco Bell is cheap. We didn't have,
Oh yeah.
know,
Yeah,
but
you don't have well, and that was interesting when Baker was in town, and I'm only getting this secondhand that he was just like all the fast food restaurants because he's like, yeah, we don't have these kinds of restaurants here. Like the food is different. Wanting to compare the difference between them,
Mhm.
their McDonald's isn't the same as it is in the United States.
yeah,
And that's not uncommon. I mean, wife and I when we went to England. We went to England and Scotland. Before I left, like my morning breakfast would be like a sausage, egg, cheese biscuit or something like that from Chick-fil-A, or maybe an English muffin, something or other like that from McDonald's. And because I'd usually make a sandwich to take with me. Every so often I might have a cheeseburger or something. I came back. First time that I got one of those, I was like, "Oh my god, this is so salty," and just it was the flavor was completely off. Like the taste, because we were gone for 2 weeks, and eating like really, really fresh food. Because I didn't realize this at the time, but they're just like, yeah, we make the sandwiches and whatever we have left over at the end of the day, we give them out to the homeless and stuff. We don't keep that food around. Here in the U.S., they freeze it or keep it in coolers or crap like that, and
they do.
it's got so much preservatives in it. By the time that you've gotten a hold of it, it's just it's a different flavor. But you go to England for a bit, and you're like, oh, their food doesn't have a whole lot of flavor. I was like, no, it does. You just have to get used to it. I mean,
no, I think the trick with England was because I traveled around there. So if you go to like I don't know, Selfridge's hotel, you're going to get like the buffet nightmare. Probably I'd argue that the eggs are reconstituted
oh yeah,
from powder, and they were made at 3 in the morning, and they're out there, and the sausages are have bona fide cardboard in them. And so
yeah,
you're thinking, oh, this is what I heard about
yeah.
British food. It's bland. But I also stayed in a B&B not a B and yeah, it was a guy. He was a chef. He was a half Irish, half English. Mother left him when there was 12, and then maybe he's 18. He wanted to impress a girl, so he trained as a chef in one of the big hotels, and he's a French
Nice.
trained chef. His last name was Culinary, yeah. And I became friends with him. I stayed at his place, and he on the weekends when he had to visit his then fiance in London, he'd give me I'd run the hotel for him. Like it'd be like one couple checking in, so it was kind of cool. But
Yeah.
he had a catering service as well. So in the deep freeze, he'd do a full English breakfast in the morning. And I was
Mm-hmm.
staying there instead of the Hilton. And what I remember was what was it? It was suddenly I realized, okay, the British food has a really rich tradition, and you can get, I mean, the variety of sausages, cheeses, and everything else. It's just,
Mm-hmm.
it's there, but it's not going to be in a tourist hotel,
No, no.
generally speaking. And so it was kind of nuts. But one place where I don't know still, but when you go to even these franchise pubs, these pubs are everywhere in the UK. On Sunday they'd have this roast, and it'd be like, it'd be, I don't know, it'd be cheap, but it was good. It was really good because it's always like this roast carvery and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
said, they
and
never
there's
really
also the
screwed that up.
difference. Well, most of the restaurants that you would go into, they would, if you ask for bacon, there's a difference between getting bacon and streaky bacon, because
Oh,
streaky bacon is what you're used to in the United States. So
oh yeah.
it's got more fat to it, but you get the English bacon. It's more of the loin without as much fat.
It's like
I mean,
ham, more like a ham, like a slice
yeah,
of ham.
yeah. It looks a lot more like ham, but it's just as good. You just have to get
Yeah.
used to it. I
No,
mean,
so they have the really good stuff, and it was but it was I remember. So one time Sean, he cooked for his he had his niece and nephew. They're both in college, and he was just he it was dinner, and I met his old man, his dad, and his niece and nephew wouldn't eat some of the stuff, and I was going like, "What the hell?" Like, and Sean explained, no, they grow up on this, so he wasn't doing anything fancy. He wasn't doing haute cuisine. He was. I said, "Your uncle is as," and this is even probably before this whole Gordon Ramsay thing. But I was basically saying, your uncle is a goddamn French trained chef. You know, he's this is awesome stuff, and you
Yeah.
guys are turning your nose down on it because it's not familiar to you. And Sean goes, yeah, but you know, you got to understand how you generally grow up, post industrial. You know,
Mm-hmm.
and he was a kid. He was a fat kid, and he said you get the whole idea of getting like peas came out of a can, and that's the kind of level of that's the level of execution. So
Yeah, that's how my wife grew up with her mother in the, grew up in the era of not her mother was, because they lived on a farm. They had a whole working farm, but whenever she got out on her own, this is, the 70s.
Mhm.
And so she's like, I mean, it's all just pick a can off there. And the only thing she would never do was the instant potatoes. But other than that, it was like canned corn, and she didn't like vegetables anyway. So it was like peas. And my wife, it wasn't until she went to college before she ever had stuff that wasn't out of a can or pre-mixed, pre-made kind of garbage. And, changed her whole outlook on food. It was just like, oh, this is actually pretty good.
I have to confess, in the past few years, my friend was working for government. He had a big place and a huge oven like the one I used to have. So I did a couple of Thanksgiving dinners and also Christmas, and so we got the full turkey and everything. But sometimes I was in a rush and I looked into his cupboard, and he had a lot of stuff from back home in North Carolina, and I was out of time. And I said, okay, no one's going to know. Not no. And there was a box of powdered corn, potato flakes for the mashed potatoes because I needed more mash. I just didn't have the wherewithal to get the potatoes and do the mash. My hands were full, and nobody complained. And I was going, okay, that was okay.
Well, my wife, what was it? Sunday, she went to a, what's it? I think it's more of a Jewish restaurant, like a breakfast kind of place where, you can get bagels and stuff like that. And she was going to stop by one that's a little bit more well known. And it's not Starbucks. It was a different place. And she was like, oh, I'll stop by there. And she was like, they look busy. There's this other place I haven't checked out. So she went in there. I want to say that was on Saturday. She went in there and she ordered like a bagel or something like that and some cheese grits. And she was just like, I couldn't even eat my meal. It was so bad. Like you would think a Jewish restaurant, the bagel was doughy in the middle of it. It wasn't cooked all the way through.
Oh.
And so she was like, okay, well, I'll try the cheese grits. And she said they were lumpy and chunky and just they were horrible. She was like, it was. And I said, well, I can tell you what they did with the grits. They didn't stir the damn things up. Yeah. They probably just scraped it off the top. I said, you got to stir those grits up and, keep them going. You should know this as a Southerner. Yeah. You keep frozen veggies more than canned, but we used Garden and Go to buy fresh and freeze. Yeah, that's not uncommon. I mean,
frozen works really well in the kitchen. I think it's just really handy because you have less prep to do, and the only thing in Japan is, and my wife is like a stickler. She'll look and she'll say, if it says from China, she goes, no, she doesn't trust it. So,
well, here in the U.S., I think we're gonna this January. Then this is irrelevant of who becomes president, but this January, you're going to see all the ports shut down.
Oh, again?
Yeah. But they were holding off until after the election. They'll probably just hold off until the end of the year because they want to buy Christmas gifts for their kids. So they worked out a temporary negotiation, but I think it's supposed to end on January 15th here in the U.S. So don't be surprised if you see the ports shut down at that point in time. and these are items that are going to be coming from China, your bananas, your grains, all of this stuff that, you could have here in the United States, but we import in from other countries. A lot of cabbage, a lot of watermelon, stuff like that comes from other countries. I mean, you would think that United States would grow watermelon like crazy, but a lot of those watermelons are shipped over from China, and they're still ripening whenever they arrive here in the U.S.
Oh,
It's
you're getting
not uncommon.
Yeah. Well, what is it? Okay. Oh, it's 8:30 p.m. here. I don't know if we're having dinner soon or something. We always have it late. We don't have it at 6 p.m. We have it often 9 p.m. or something.
It's so wild to me. I can't do that. I'm usually 5:30. Of course, my wife always makes fun of me. She's geriatric. I'm like, well, yeah. It's like if I waited until 7 o'clock, then I wouldn't be be able to do my evening streams.
You were former Navy, right?
No, Army.
Army. Okay. Oh, yesterday I went to a conference and there was I didn't like him much, but my friend knew him. Admiral Dennis Blair. He was Navy. He was head of head of Pacific Command.
Okay.
And then he was head of the National Directorate of Intelligence, NDI. But he's kind of a mouthpiece. He gets paid by the Japanese government, so he sometimes says things that are not in the best interest of the U.S. Yeah, for example, like in 2018, he was opinion pieces. You can look them up, and he's going, "We should thank Japan for their defense contribution. It's a record high." But the fact of the matter was as a percentage of GDP, Japan's contribution amongst the allied partners was the lowest. And so you would actually be helping Abe and saying, "Hey, Japan, you should," because that they'd love that excuse to say, "Up your defense spending." But so. And once I did a look at some of these guys. They're all Democrats. They would, some of them like Richard Armitage had been getting $270,000 to $420,000 through the Japanese government through JETRO to different offices. I tracked them, and until 2017. Do you know why? There was a new sheriff in town called President Trump. So
yeah. Well,
then it continued again. Yeah.
Well, and in this election, I think you're going to see a big headwind of change if people will just calm down on the rhetoric bullshit. Like you could see some drastic changes in the way that elections are being held, the way they're being put together. If I think what really set this year especially to just becoming a complete mess and catastrophe is you had the left and the right both using the court system to sue and attack and argue, and then of course on top of that the news is covering every single lawsuit or jail time or whatever it is that's going on with Trump and every other single person. It's just like, I think there was too much focus on that, not enough focus on getting our voting crap down and getting that straightened out. I mean, you heard about this crap here, that a judge extended early voting option in suburban Philadelphia County after Trump's campaign sued.
Oh, I saw that.
So in Bucks County, we covered this yesterday. In Bucks County, there were people that were showing up and they were turning them away from voting, doing early voting. And the problem is because their excuse was we're understaffed. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing is, it doesn't matter if you're understaffed. You have that ability to go all the way up until 5. There's people that take the entire day off because they know it's going to take all damn day. And if they're showing up, they're just like, listen, I can work in the morning. I can get there, at noon, and it takes you an hour to get home from work so you can get to your voting place, and they've shut it down at 1:30. Yeah, you're in a bind. You're sitting there going, what? You mean I can't vote? And so the judge extended this stuff out The Trump campaign actually came in and sued over this. It's like Pennsylvania judge on Wednesday sided with Donald Trump's campaign, agreed to extend an in-person voting option in a suburban Philadelphia county where long lines on the final day led to complaints. Voters were being disenfranchised by unprepared election office. Yeah, like I said, you should know this stuff ahead of time. I think everyone has been relying on these mail-in ballots. Judge Jeffrey Trugger said in a one-page order that Bucks County voters who wanted to apply for an early mail ballot now have until Friday. The narrowly divided county, which is led by Democrats, is often seen as a political bellwether. They say that about every single place. Trump campaign lawsuit, which was filed Wednesday morning, comes amid a flurry of litigation and complaints over voting in battleground state. But that is expected to play a central role in helping select the next 2024 election. Oh yeah, we saw the voting person is going to be winning on that one. The lawsuit sought a one-day extension through Wednesday at 5 p.m. for Bucks County voters to apply in person for mail-in ballot, a method referred to as on-demand mail voting in Pennsylvania. The judge's order permits applications through the close of business on Friday. Bucks County officials said they were pleased to be able to offer additional days for those who are seeking. Yeah, you better be pleased. You don't want to say, oh, we disagree with this. No, you're going, oh, yes, thank you, sir. May I have another? The Trump and the Republicans recast the ruling as a win. Today's ruling is kind of a victory for making sure Pennsylvanians are going to have a secure, orderly process. My favorite thing that I saw out of all of this bullshit shenanigans was Trump embraces garbage news cycle within 6 days until the election.
You know what? That shows to have a sense of humor, to be able to be that level of kinetic response is just awesome. I mean,
oh yeah,
and it's funny. I was trying to tell my son. There's two things that the left does. One is they've become a bit autistic in that they can't appreciate humor. They don't actually comprehend it because they take things literally. So, it's kind of like a form of autism. But another thing they do deliberately is if they hear anything, any figure of speech or anything else, it's a tactic they use, that they will take that statement, even, out of context, and they'll interpret it literally. Like you say, I can kill you. And you go, you have just issued a death threat. I'm in fear of my safety, and they'll blow it up. And it gets a bit worn out.
Yes,
and
it's
but at the same time they're halfway, autistic. Now you get Biden. I don't know if he did that to sink Kamala or whatever, but he calls it's really so much like Hillary's statement about deplorables, and he just bang. I mean, I saw this was. He had garbage trucks. He had workers. He kept that vest on when he's speaking. I'm going, wow. There's,
Yes, it's the ultimate troll. I mean, there was no joking with that stuff. Whenever he did that, I was like, oh, that's so beautiful.
I mean, he's working hard for America. He spent a day at McDonald's, and now he's committed to taking out the garbage, and puts that in with clearing up swamp,
You have to read the whole thing. $50, whatever you want, baby. How about dropping out of the 24 presidential race?
With grits. Someone was that they're having a discussion about grits and explaining what grits are. Here's
grits
the thing.
How many grits?
Grits, corn, right? And so here's one of the things that they had until about 1918, until you had in the South, you had both whites and blacks, but there were poor whites and blacks. Every spring, they would come up and they would have these symptoms that were, that they didn't know. I mean, you'd have like your skin and your immune system, everything. And so they thought it was a contagious disease. And it was really effed up. And what they did was they hired this Hungarian Jewish immigrant named Joseph Goldberger. And they sent him over to the South to figure out what it was. And he thought, initially, the theory is that it was a contagious disease. You know what it was? It's because when you have corn and you don't do that nicotinization, you don't release the niacin in the corn. This is what when you're supposed to strip the kernel using, say, an alkaline thing. If you're not
Mhm.
doing what the Aztecs have done and etc. In processing corn, then it deprives you of nutrients.
Yes,
Primarily, what is it? Vitamin B3, niacin,
I think that's right.
and so you're going
Niacin.
to get a disease called pellagra. And so
Oh,
the guy figured it out. But so these people in the beginning, they just thought, well, you're just catching something in the spring when the weather changes. But it was actually during the winter months, then you're focused on, the corn that you stored and grits and everything else corn based, but it's not processed enough. In this case,
right.
you need the processing to release the niacin. So otherwise, it's just going through your system and pellagra. So
My wife does like some New York Times crossword puzzle thing or something, and she was sitting there one day and she's like, I've like I don't know, she's in competitive about it or something, and so I looked at it and I was just like, oh, okay, and so I typed something out and I handed it back to her and she was just like, niacin. What made you think of that? I was like, I have no idea. That's all I saw whenever I was reading that. This is hilarious, dude. I love this right here. Imagine this is CNN and they're really into just smashing. Oh my gosh, Harris leads in Wisconsin, Minnesota. She's tied with Trump in Pennsylvania. This happened.
Interrupt you for a moment. Stand by for a moment. Trump is answering some questions from reporters.
Joe Biden to make that statement, it's really a disgrace. He said the other day that the military could be.
That is so awesome. When I saw that, I was like, yes. Could you imagine they jump in there right in the middle of all that?
Mhm.
Oh, and then of course
it
you
kind
have
of ruins their party. Yeah. Um,
you've
that's
seen
funny.
this,
I mean,
right?
who's this?
You've seen this. This you'll like this.
So it's been noted that there's been issues with the programming of the bats with specifically
Yes.
from Dominion.
Mhm.
Why was that only caught in the past few days, and why can't it be fixed? I saw the release with the
Yeah, this is a nationwide issue with Dominion voter access terminals in the counties that use them. And the voter access terminals, of course, not all the machines, just the ones that are
Nationwide.
accessible, have an issue with the straight party voting and a programming issue that's again affected the machines nationwide. And I think all of us that use Dominion machines were unhappy to learn about this during the testing period and as early voting began. So we're working with Dominion to seek accountability on that front, and also
Yeah, good luck
working
with
our
that.
clerks to
They're not
ensure
even based in
voters
the
are
US.
aware of this
God.
programming issue that will require them to ensure they are voting every section on the ballot.
Do you think it's a bigger issue in Michigan because we do allow voters to cross over in ways that a lot of other states don't?
Because we have straight party. It's not struck me as I've talked to my other colleagues in other states. They're just as upset about it as we are.
Yeah, think people aren't a little upset.
Oh, this is great. I got this photo. It just came out on Twitter. I'll send it to you on Discord. You can't read it. It's in Japanese, but I'll tell you what it is if you see the photo. It's just an accident that just happened. It's is it? Yeah, it is. It is. It's
U.S. Customs and Border Patrol. Oh, that's awesome. I love it. I love it. Yes. You know, that garbage truck is going to be worth more than it was before. Oh, let me open this browser.
The photo I sent you on Discord was this. In Japan, one of these, you have a campaign truck, and it will have a political party on it and everything.
Right.
And this one says something about the LDP. It's criticizing it, and but the party it represents is the Communist Party of Japan.
Oh, Jesus.
I think it basically there was a train and it didn't make it on the tracks and it got totally demolished by a commuter train. So
It's
I don't
funny
know why.
watching those people look out at it. They're just like, what in the hell is that thing doing?
And what I was told was communist car crashed to train. That's what he wrote.
That's
Okay.
hilarious.
I didn't know what he meant, but you know.
Oh, the thing that somebody posted on this.
Mhm.
Since when is, here it goes. Since when has Camel Toe been afraid of a shot to the face? Like, oh,
Oh,
man,
she
you
has
guys are
like
bad.
teleprompters there or something because I
No,
remember
well,
when.
no,
when
she
one
has
of them,
she has plexiglass up
Mhm.
because she was doing this on the ellipse,
Oh.
on the ellipse or whatever they call it there in Washington. Oh my God, I love this.
Yeah, what does she have to worry about?
No, she doesn't have anything to worry about. But here's it, and you know, a lot of people are like, oh well, Trump is going to be bad for our country. Trump is going to be bad for the country. Well, what does this look like?
Here's the way to look at it. The biggest business in America is the federal government. It's a business. There's no
growing
question
bigger
about
every
it.
day.
Absolutely. Who has the executional skills and the track record to even look at this problem, regardless of what elements are going to be cut? He doesn't have a plan yet. There's no other individual like Elon Musk. And the way to measure it is a very simple measure. And I've worked for some of these people. I always go back to Steve Jobs. Some people are, 50% noise and 50% signal. By signal, meaning how much of the day do you spend on your mandate, your job, or whatever your objectives are. Steve Jobs was 85% signal. Elon Musk is 100% signal. People criticize him for his social skills, but there is no man on earth that's achieved what he's done. So to give him any disrespect is a mistake. When he says he can find $2 trillion, I think you should let him go look for it. We've never really looked at the federal government this way, and if anybody could do it and has the track record to do such, it would be him. Why? And I disagree with Larry 100%. What are you talking about? We've got to go find $2 trillion. We've got to go find $5 trillion. We've got to figure out how to solve this problem. We need every idea. And I love the concept of taking somebody from the outside in, but you've got to have the president backing this individual. This is a specific mandate to go identify savings. Otherwise, it won't be taken seriously by any agency. The concept is release the hounds. Let them in there. And then come back with a shopping list of ideas. And let's debate it. Why not? We need to find some savings. We know the government's fat.
It's not even talked.
Well, the worst part about all of that is this is what people have been saying for decades. Like, cut government spending. It shouldn't be as bloated as it is. And I don't know how it works in Japan, but in the United States, the amount of government spending is just through the freaking roof.
Yeah, I mean, with the U.S., I noticed, when you have budgets, you have use it or lose it stuff. Well, your fiscal year is like end of September, so October, you're going to have a huge spend. Japan, the fiscal year is end of March, so you're just absolutely going to get right down to the local level. You're going to get suddenly you have tons of construction. Where's that coming from? Because they don't want to lose their budgets.
And that is one of the biggest things where the government spending becomes such a problem is because of those budgets that they don't want to lose. It's sort of like use it or lose it and don't get it again next year kind of thing, which is just piss poor way of doing business.
And then you got those initiatives. Maybe on ballots right now. They wanted to add something with. I think a guy from Colorado was telling me they wanted to add something on. Maybe it was on veterans, maybe on something like that. And he's going like, why would you need to add a vote for a tax to add an additional tax for something where it should already be covered? Why don't you take? So it's not that he was against. He's a veteran himself. It's not that he doesn't want to say no. Don't spend it on veterans. That's not the case. He believes like, why are you suddenly, bifurcating this and adding another tax? That's
not totally right on the American people. Yeah. It is. That's like you should be cutting. How about cutting some of the extensive spending that you do on things that are unnecessary, which is quite a bit. There's a lot of that happens. I'm just that's always why whenever I see a lot of this stuff, that I just go, holy crap. Did you see the Mark Randazza?
The letter?
Yeah. I can't
Yeah,
show it here.
no, you can't. But it was like, what was it? It was another lawyer mistakenly sent him a cease and desist.
I could read part of it. So Randazza Medical Legal Group got an email from a Jordan Barrington. And he says, F you and your child diddling client. Dear Mr. Barrington, I received your demand addressed to Avid Meg Inc., seeking to take down information about your client from here. And has a New York, looks like city data. And he says, I do not represent Avid Meg. I'm not sure how you came to send this demand to me, but man, you should have thought that one through a little bit better. Your client was convicted of engaging in misconduct with a minor, 13-year-old boy. One consequence of effing a kid is that you get put on a sex offenders registry, and that shit is public information. You demanded the removal of your client's name, date of birth, and address forthwith. Let me confirm that information forthwith. It gives his address. You threatened to complain to Google to try and delist the website to bring a civil suit and bring this matter to our contact at the New York AG's office. Oh, I'm so effing scared. Not your contact. Female genitalia. You demanded that this information be deleted within 24 hours. I have a suggestion for you. Why don't you go F yourself forthwith and your child diddling client? Go F himself and count himself lucky that he only got 6 years probation instead of the punishment he deserved. I don't know what Avadameg wants to do, but my guess is that they would tell you to go F yourself as well. And next time you're trying to suppress First Amendment protected information about a kiddie player, do some research on the MFer you're sending a demand to. F you, F your client, better him than effing little kids. Yeah.
That was on Twitter.
Signed,
that was good. Yeah.
Mark Randazza. Included your demand and your client's registered details. What a creep. I love it.
He had the photo of the guy.
Has his address, everything.
Yeah, it's
like,
that's the lawyer that Nick Rekieta retained for his defense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's still using him because he's kind of expensive. So
yeah. Yeah, I'm sort of with Mark Randazza there. Like, screw you. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
I'm in love with your cat. I hear you. Glad you're safe and warm. Oh yeah, had an employee that had to turn into the police for child prawn, and he's still serving in federal prison. Yeah, they should permanently. Those are kids, man.
I'm going to wait, is it morning there for you right now?
Yeah, it's almost 8:00 in the morning. But I think you guys have a time change different than we do, or something like that.
So we're ahead of you. It's like I've already gone through my day. October 31st and Thursday. So,
yeah, it's Thursday here also. Thursday morning.
I had to go through. I had to write up a report, so I couldn't go to the conference today. I didn't really want to, but tomorrow I might go. I think I put on Discord, on Meme Copian's Discord. I took a quick photo of where I was sitting in the conference, but I realized it was the British Embassy's cyber attaché. I don't know.
Nice.
He was using his computer, so I basically was looking at it, and I said, I can still read it. You have one of those special screens, but Max can still read it. Yeah. I was kind of joking. Hey, I know you're not, you're on one of those freaky sites. Now he was taking notes. It's kind of weird. Like going to these things, it's really dry. There's especially these people. A lot of it sometimes is platitudes. I just don't. I had a hard enough time in school taking notes, but I just don't understand. People are there and they're just taking notes, and I'm feeling, oh man, I don't think I could do that for more than, if my life depended on it, 15 minutes maybe that would be the most. But and then I was, you have all these bios, and there's one where it was a representative from the U.S. government, and it was like, it just read DEI hire. It was just like brings diversity, and you read everyone else had these qualifications, and this one was, I thought, oh boy, it's just, I felt sorry for anyone who'd have to listen to her talk. So
yeah,
we went for coffee.
This is awesome. Toy sent this to me this morning. Says, Carl, maybe you should just leave your flashlight off. We're trying to scare these kids, not crack them up. Oh my gosh. Oh, there was somebody that sent me something last night, and this is why you don't. I love it, Max. You're awesome.
I love this. It's a great little.
So all these fine people that decide to go on the attack of other people. So and I'm not going to show this, but I just want to say that there's a certain bubble out there that's about to get popped, because not only do I have all of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, looks like about 13 email addresses. I also have your IP address and your gateway information. And just so you know, whenever I dig into this a little bit further, you'd be lucky. You'd be lucky. I would suggest.
Well, do you have stalker trolls or something? Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're going after people that don't have anything to do with drama or the drama that they're surrounding themselves with, and I know they're watching.
Do they have exciting past careers as actors? Max
it's not as exciting as that, but they might run off to Armenia at some point in time and disappear, and then come back with a mail order. Just saying, you may want to check yourself before you wreck yourself, because I know how to. It actually shows me where that address is located. Yeah, better than the bootlickers. Oh yeah. Yeah, if you didn't see,
you get these things in defense. You have we call them beacons, and so maybe I leave something open, you hit it, and then bang, it just gives you everything you need. Thank you for eating my beacon, and
just a bad lawyer, Max. That's what it is. That's exactly what it is. It's a bad.
I don't know if I'm gonna have one of these again. I'm doing these nicotine pouches every other day.
Yeah.
But this one, oh, it's good. It's but not before dinner. I mean, that's kind of a waste.
No, yeah, it would be a waste. That's one of those after dinner kind of snacks that you get.
No, I just don't. I just needed to get this report done, so I was going, damn, I've been procrastinating, and it's due, and they're going to present it. So when I got into the flow, I this time just, it was like one of Inception. I didn't know where the time went, and it was better than when you're on the internet and looking at stupid stuff, and you go, where did the time go? And it's been 6 hours. In this case, it was actually at work, and it was good. So I was kind of happy.
The reason I brought this up, Max, is because I know a little bit about you, and these these folks that want to play,
Mm-hmm.
that want to play and go attacking YouTube creators, going after them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you.
Mm.
You see this lovely face right here, people. You see this lovely face right here. You start messing around, and this will be the last face that you see, and he's going to be smiling the whole time. You won't even see it coming, because all it takes is just one little ask, and he lives for this. So I suggest that they figure out something better to do with their life than going attacking YouTube creators.
Why are they going after YouTube creators? That's silly, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, think about this. You know, you've got Josh that's covering the Nick Rekieta stuff, and you've got people that like it, like Nick and hate Nick. Now imagine you get, let's see, BP, for example. BP doesn't care one way or the other, and then all of a sudden they start going after BP, and then they start doxing him, coming after his kids, threatening to call Child Protective Services on him, and BP's like, what? Just because Max, Meme and I are friends doesn't mean that you need to be coming after me. That's inappropriate. Well, that's what's happened. There's people that are going after people that have nothing to do with this, that have stayed away from all of this bullshit drama. And I'm just saying, we need that helmet guy to be the last phase. Yeah.
Well, send if you have time, send some stuff over to me, and I'll I sometimes I get bored. Sometimes I do want to look up stuff and test stuff out and see.
But
hey,
you've got this conference. You got to get your reports.
No, I did it. It was actually, so it was interesting. It was on how can I say? Anyways, it was on a it was interesting because it was on they were concerned about reputational risk of a key executive, a CEO of a major company. But what was refreshing in this case was there wasn't like unsavory links to organized crime or something like that. It was incredibly clean, and because usually you're finding out you can see a lot of stuff, and so I was just going through it, and I was going, this is pretty good. And that's another good thing, just to figure out. But the other thing I wanted, just for the look, I wanted the guy's house. He has it's somewhere in Tokyo, and I was going, how can I find it? And finally I found it, and I was going like, yeah. And I had the photos, and it is stupid because does it really matter? I said, I kind of wanted to, and then I went after, I didn't go after, but it was all kind of good stuff that all supported that this person has been living and working a good life and is doing, is not into the nose candy or doing Japanese guy, or not doing like mistresses and screwing people over. And by the way, there's something that happened in Japan. There was another, the CEO of Olympus, which is a Japanese company. 2 years ago, they put in a German CEO, and his name is Stefan Kaufmann.
Oh. And
anyways, what happened was last week, Olympus inside the company, there were allegations that, and this is the funny thing, they went to the police and they said, we believe that the CEO of the company has bought drugs illegally, not bought illegal drugs. I'm not 100% sure, but it sounded like he purchased drugs illegally. And the police served a warrant on his place, and they found nothing. The police didn't say anything. Then Olympus said, we forced him to resign. And Olympus leaked out. Yeah, the police even did a search on a warrant, and the police said, no, because we didn't find anything, we're not releasing this. This all came from Olympus. Remember, Olympus has done this before to another foreign CEO. The one piece of information somebody said, they said, Max, that source within Olympus could have been the guy's girlfriend. So he may have been dipping his pen in the company ink, right? And then I thought, okay, possibly, I don't think the guy was, if you say he was purchasing drugs illegally, and he had, maybe his one misgiving was he had a girlfriend or ex-girlfriend. Maybe the guy was silly enough to have illegally purchased erectile dysfunctional drugs like Cialis or Levitra or Viagra illegally, which is easy to get with a prescription. I mean, that is the fastest approved. It still has a record of the fastest approved ethical prescription drug in Japan. It was approved in 1999, and it was just boom.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um,
And yes,
but
Romero, this is live. Romero, this is completely
yeah,
live.
so I thought, well, that was kind of a yeah with so anyways the guy I don't know, we'll never know what the actual the core of the allegations were, but um
Yeah, you never do. No, that like
Olympus is a
what I
nasty
just
company. Yeah.
what I just sent you. It's that's a little bit of the information,
Okay.
but it's one person. It's one person.
Oh, hello. Oh.
Yeah, they've been going into people and saying that they're going to report them and doxing them and coming after them. Threatening, that kind of stuff is not appropriate ever.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hold on for a second. I just gotta charge my camera for a second. I'm okay.
Uh-huh. We've got the wonderful Max Murrah here with us today. I'll mute you for real quick. You can just knock whenever you're ready, or you should be able to do it yourself. Oh yeah, so that way we don't hear a conversation. People, it's awesome. It is. Or he'll come back on screen. There we go.
I'm back.
Yes, you are. Mm-hmm.
Oh. Oh, that's I actually there's no familiar. I mean, I don't have the context of this, but somebody coming out of this nowhere. Well, Jesus, this is not a good.
Well, it's more than just coming out of nowhere. They've got some issues.
Mm-hmm.
They got some issues. I went over a little bit last night. Well, that's part of it. That's part of it. But see, we try to be respectful here. We only use what we need to use, and we don't give that to other people, because it's not a hate campaign. It's back the F off kind of campaign here.
I don't mind. I can.
Oh, I know. I can give this to you, and you can find out all kinds of stuff. I've already pulled up a lot of stuff off of different places, but there's so much out there. So much out there. Like I said,
Oh, this is a really interesting name here. Okay.
Whenever I said don't mess around with people,
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't joking. And these people thinking it's funny and it's cute because they want to get those likes and clicks. I keep telling them, you don't know the people I know. You don't know the people I know. Don't ever let me catch you coming after these people at all. It's not appropriate. Not appropriate. I'm only getting started. You know,
okay, so I see they.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. You know, I used to live in I worked in. Hold on, let me see where it is. Before I get it wrong, because it's a big place, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
I've been wrong before. I wonder if it's. There's two places I know.
Yep. What are we talking about? Oh,
No,
just.
I see. Okay, just
interesting
stay
things.
outside. So I would go up to a route. I worked for Eaton Semiconductor, so it was out in Beverly, in Danvers off Route 128. You know, outside of Boston. But this was right
Mm-hmm.
much in closer inland. But then the other place I was looking at is you know, I work for Bobby Valentine, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Oh, yeah.
he's a child. He's a golden boy, son of all his life he went back to the small town he grew up in, and that
Mhm.
is, see how far away that place is. Oh, hello. Oh, yeah, that's more in that's more in that's further away. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
That's more in closer to Danbury. Yeah. Um, between that area, Bobby's in Stamford, so that's more closer
No,
to
you have
the
to
Long Island
understand,
town. So I'm going,
Romeo.
oh, okay, okay. So you
This,
see the
this
general
right here
history.
is this man right here is the one and only Mr. Chinky Eye Joe.
Chinky Eye Joe, yes, it's a totally
Yes.
non-racist name.
Yes, you can find him on Twitter. You can find him at the real Max Murrah on his
Dang, this guy's
channel
like
also.
53 or 54. I don't know. I'm supposed to be good at math, but
Good
how do
morning,
you know
Silhouette. How
this?
you doing?
Um,
Finally got coffee and
no, actually older. Hold on,
sitting at the
59.
pub.
Oh, you're going to be 59. Oh, I see. Oh, that's very good. You should act your age. So I get everything. Everything's within.
Within reach. I know.
If you wanted to, everything's kind of like. I think it's not. No, okay, yeah. I throw away the connect. I got the middle name, and then you're going, okay. Oh yeah, see.
It's
Sometimes when you move around, you leave your assets. You forget you get a refund for $2.50. And it depends on the state. But you go, oh my, people do these things. And
Yes.
they get late. I mean, even the former prime minister, he did a stint in the States, and I found like, he. So I said sometimes you kind of do want to cover up your tracks. It's really hard. I mean, there's the one guy. He was the money man. Oh, did you say that back? He was the money man for hold on. He was the money man for um. Oh, my son's dressed up as Dragon Ball, the Goku for Halloween. Oh, I didn't realize he went to work. He went to work dressed like that. Oh jeez, that's funny. I just saw him come behind me and went, oh, I don't think he's angry. I think he's kind of, yeah. Now what am I talking about? I totally forgot. We had Goku. You saw that, right, Kizzy? You see that?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Oh my gosh. It just makes me laugh whenever I see him.
No, he was like, No, I totally forgot. Oh, okay. So the guys, yeah. So what's his middle name? Okay, I'll make sure I don't mess it up. I say it. Okay, there. It's no. So that's really weird. It's like yeah. Let's see, 2:59. Yeah, 59. Wow.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like, come on, act your age.
Yeah.
Although
Yeah,
I don't know, they could be going through. I don't know if it's a husband and wife team. I don't know, but if it's not, if it's just one guy, he's just like, what the hell is this problem?
Well, he has been divorced. He's got a new wife that he picked up from Armenia, and
oh, I see. Oh, I see.
yeah, which I've got all that information too.
I mean,
like I said, I mean, the thing is a lot of these folks, they have this belief that they should put together ways of going after people, and they want to ruin them, and I just want them to back off.
If this individual were unemployed and a 40, 50-year-old loser, 59-year-old loser living in his parents' basement or something like that, I go, okay, well, but if you actually you have your own practice, you have your own place of business, and especially in professional services with licensure involved and everything, what the F are you doing? I mean, it's as stupid and reckless and like going out and buying some nose candy and snorting that, it's dumb. It's
yeah.
So there has to be some, something going on in the head that's not quite right.
Yes.
I don't.
And
I don't.
especially as an attorney, and you have to understand that whenever I started digging into this, which you really don't want me digging into it too far, because there there's a couple of people that might be pulling a little bit of that Captain Ukraine, woe is me kind of thing for somebody else. And just so you know, that's highly illegal whenever you're running some sort of
Fake
little-
fundraising scams. Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
They do prosecute. Yeah. And so the amounts to do it. I mean, that's a form of fraud, and you'll have and usually when you do that, you end up committing a couple of other misdemeanors and felonies along the way. You know, where look, even recreational drug use. If you're doing this and you're doing it in significant quantities, as this other fellow has done,
Oh
you
yeah.
end up. Are you then? How are you filing your taxes then? Oh, have you been claiming all these tribes and everything? Maybe you're going, yeah, you know, this is a business expense. At
Well,
some point.
and you have to understand that this attorney
Mhm.
is doing this without receiving any monetary compensation, which
Yeah,
is a
something's not
little-
going right in this house, or it could be.
I mean, whenever I saw that, and I started questioning it, and started wondering, hey, so he shows up with this group of people every so often. They're running some little, you can't really call it a fundraiser, but they're saying, oh, we're buying this child some gifts, and yeah, send your money to us. Why wouldn't you have them sending it directly to that person?
Mm-hmm.
Unless they're unwittingly, they don't know about it because they don't watch YouTube. They have other things to do. But people are
Wait a minute.
throwing money their way.
I mean, this kind of gets in. I mean, you have what is one of the worst things? One of the easiest things. A lot of people think that if you get caught with drug possession or these other crimes, that you're going to get disbarred. No, not really. You may be suspended. But what gets a lawyer disbarred? What when you have clients' money and you take it, you know, like
Well, just
Avenatti.
imagine. But
Yeah.
but he's doing this. He's doing this without receiving any compensation.
Hmm.
I mean, like I said, there's too many things, and if I really start digging into it, I'm wondering where that path leads. And you also have to understand that I'm the type of person that will start digging,
Mhm.
and I start questioning, and I start thinking, so how do I find out that information, and how do I track it? Well, it's not
This
hard.
is weird. Why this guy? There's one probably not active anymore, but there's an AOL address that's like granddaddy's. You know, this is like boomer
that's-
senior sort of stuff. I don't think.
Well,
people
that's
still-
that's something he's had for a while.
I know, probably not now, but it's
Oh, it's still there. Trust me.
Oh,
They-
Jesus.
yeah, they
That's
use
great.
these pretty
That's sad.
actively. Yeah, it is sad. I mean, I have an old. I think I still have an old MindSpring account. That tells you how long I had that one. Prodigy email address, I think, too. Bad means no way to both. Yeah.
Oh, I see. Oh, there's GoFundMe's and. Okay, I see.
It's
No, I
sufferably loquacious.
what? I mean, what a waste of a law degree. What a waste of a law degree, you know.
Yeah, it is a waste of a law degree, but also and the thing is it's not about helping this person out. It's about gaining some notoriety because he's got a beef with somebody over being fired. So he's got issues. Shower and sink upstairs and
Is
downstairs.
this the current home? I don't know. This is the old home, or I'm not sure if this is the A 2 bedroom, 2 baths. It's kind of modest. It's nice. I don't know if that's the
Yeah.
current one. Mm.
Probably. Yeah, he's mid-level. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We have a tub catching water. Oh my gosh.
Oh, I
Charming.
love these real estate sites. You know, they have.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. They have so many pictures.
Oh yeah, probably there. Well, let me see where I got this address from. It was from one of the.
Oh no! See, the problem is Rosalind. He's
Oh yeah, this
touched
is current,
other
dude.
people.
This is so current, and it's actually dealing with some nuts. Oh man, I need to get my subscription for Trellis, or I can probably find it somewhere else.
Oh, I've got some of the stuff off Pacer, but there's more. Oh, there's so much more. You just, like I said, you
This is
mess
better than the
with the
crossword
wrong.
puzzle, you know.
It is.
Look, although at the same point, then you're going into their mindset because you're saying, aren't you kind of being predatory and trollish and everything else? I said,
No,
yeah, but I'm one of the good guys. No,
I'm not. I'm not one of the good guys. I'm pretty chill, and I don't do this kind of stuff. Just saying, I'm really chill. I let people do and fight their own game. The thing is you came after two people that I really care about, that have done nothing, have stayed out of this stuff. And whenever you do that I take that personal, because they're just on here. They're just on here doing YouTube stuff. They're not getting involved in the drama. They don't care about it. It's one thing, you know, meme I can understand people coming after him because of what he's covering, and he accepts that. And he just deals with it however meme deals with it. But whenever you come after people that are not involved in this whatsoever, just because they showed up on someone's YouTube channel.
oh, jeez.
Yeah. Oh, trust me, Tug and Megan, they fight back. But we're not going to play.
Oh.
And all this is information gathering. And it's not something that I share out to the rest of the world. This is for my own personal sick pleasure. I love my old books. I collect really old books.
It is interesting. I mean, a lot of times there's an element of like delusional disorder. I didn't realize how many markers there are for delusional disorder. And then sometimes you have, on top of that, you have a psychotic break. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is.
Because it could be, you could have, what did happen? I had a friend, his wife actually had one, and it's created a lot of problems, and it was so sudden. And where? Oh yeah, okay, here it is. Oh yeah, there's a whole list of these delusional. I don't know if that's a case, but these delusional jealousy, that your partner's unfaithful, bizarre, you know, erotomanic. I didn't realize that one. I realized I had a friend, his patient had this, and it was really dangerous. A delusion that another person, more frequently someone of higher status, is in love with the individual, you know? Like, yes.
Yeah.
But persecutory is one. You know, the central theme is being conspired against, attacked, harassed, obstructed in the pursuit of long-term goals. And yes, I think this is. But grandiose covers a lot: a conviction of great talent, discovery, inflated self-worth, power, knowledge, or relationship with someone famous or a deity. Yes.
Wild. Wow. Yeah, there are some loons out there.
I like
definitely.
yeah, so it's but so usually it's you have Oh yeah, so it comes in handy. I mean, at this conference. There's a Japanese guy, who I was expecting to show up at the conference the other day because of certain factors. But what he was he worked very closely for somebody, very uh, in the state of Massachusetts. By the way, he worked for a very well known and well regarded, famous philanthropist who passed away suddenly. For no good
Mm-hmm.
reason. Joichi Ito was the director of the MIT Media Lab, and he worked for Jeffrey Epstein.
There's
Yeah,
there it is. I mean, you've
yeah,
seen some of this stuff with the P Diddler. I mean Diddley or whatever
yeah.
his name is.
But but the guy lived in Hazel, on the lakeshore in Chicago. He had a black Monte Carlo SS back in the 80s. It's a penthouse apartment. I have the address. And he was dealing powdered white cocaine in those days, 500-gram packages, and
Jeez.
never charged him, but he was
Wow.
but now what he was doing was critical to when Bill Gates, because he was so embarrassed about being a Harvard dropout, and because MIT has higher status, that's why he needed to give his $2 million, which you might think it's not a lot of money for a billionaire, but it was, and he gave it to Jeffrey Epstein because otherwise he couldn't do it directly because he was too ashamed, and that's how. So
Mm-hmm.
this is how what Epstein was doing, and then bundling that money, and then through MIT, and then they would give him an office and stuff like that, and that would big up him as a philanthropist that they both were. And so this
I
guy,
don't.
when he was 3 years ago, I think he was appointed. The government said he was going to be the chief technology officer of the new digital agency of Japan, and I thought, what the hell? They didn't mention anything. They said he resigned as director of the MIT lab, and I call guys. We have guys who work in the press, and including the semi-official one, NHK, which is like the BBC. And I said, what the hell? So I put it out there, and then they rescinded it. And I talked to my friend. He covers defense right now, and he just said, look me in the eye, and he goes, yeah, we dropped the ball. We totally. I said, no, you didn't drop the ball. You have a lot of guards. You have a lot of people sweeping for this guy.
Oh yeah.
And
And that's not uncommon to
yeah.
have. They're like these places put layer upon layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. Oh, and it's because they'll make a mistake, and they're like, oh, I'm not making that mistake again. And they add more layers to it. So once you start peeling back those onions, it's like going into that onion. You start peeling those layers back. Oh, eventually you get to the middle of it, and the shitstorm it releases make you cry.
Subjects like this guy, he covers everything. He's very discreet. He's been for years and decades doing this stuff, and I've noticed him even going into archives and sweeping shit, like because and creating fictional. But I not somebody actively going out there like a tard, and challenging people. That you're that's like being Johnny Somali of the internet,
Yes.
you're going to get clocked, and that's.
Why are you guys so complicated? I don't know what you mean, Romeo. Is maybe because we're not?
Oh, this is an interesting company. I picked it up. Magnet Forensics. They're
very cool.
You know what they do? Yeah, they have to. It's a great tool. I don't think they sell to private sector because it's usually law enforcement. When you have somebody with, they're waving on their devices, they have CP and stuff like that locked and everything. Goes in there, takes everything that's been deleted and erased, or sometimes the devices have been thrown into salt water and damaged and smashed.
Microwaves.
Yeah, that you can still extract enough and
put it together.
Yeah, usually. So sometimes we go to these conferences, and you have it's like a sales pitch. A vendor, they have this seminar, and you think you're going to learn something, and it's a sales pitch. But when I went to theirs, I was like twice in a row. I was like, this is great. I love their stuff, and it was always it was cool. And then I didn't think about it. I didn't think about it, and I had my idea on this one. I just like this one. But there's a guy in one of Josh's Discords. He's visiting Japan. He's based in Colorado, and
Oh, very cool.
he's former Army, and he's in this area. And so he noticed this, and he goes, "Do you have?" I said, "No, this is from way back." But so he came out
He's
here.
like,
and
do you
it's
have
cool.
some?
Yeah, but we went to the conference yesterday. It's for 3 days, and ran into a lot of friends like I hadn't seen for a while since COVID. So one of my friends is like a CISO for AIG out here. Another guy is he's retired, but he was like former Air Force, and he was DIA. And so it was just really just good walking in there, and we were yeah. I think I'll go back tomorrow. It was not so.
You should.
We had it was the only thing the only thing that was is a bit nuts was yeah, you once in a while you get these people that are just, I think they're from China, from maybe the embassy or whatever, and you just got to watch out for them. And
Yep.
it sounds weird,
Yeah.
but they'll stand, you're in a coffee break and they're standing there, and you realize something's off. I mean, they're going to present as, "Oh, I'm John Tanaka," whatever, but they're not. And
Yeah. You're just like, something's not quite right about this, the way they're acting. Speaking of the way they're acting, I'm getting ready to kill this thing. If you got a couple of minutes, hang out. And everybody, have a wonderful day. Be on the lookout. I'll be doing a stream tonight. I've got something interesting to show you guys tonight. I will see you guys very soon. Make sure that you hit that like button on the way in, on the way out. Let me double check and make sure I'm sending you guys somewhere, because sometimes I forget to do that. No, I do that quite often. I'm like, get all this stuff done, and I'm just like, oh shoot, I forgot to send
What's on
everybody
now?
off.
What's on?
What's on? Well, I was looking to see, Meme is not on, but I've got Mo, so I'm going to send you guys over to see Mo.
Oh.
Make sure you hit the like button on the way in and on the way out, and we'll see you guys on the flip side. Peace, y'all.
Bless your heart. I thought I was the only mentally challenged one here.
Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Early morning, rise and shine. Coffee's brewing, feeling fine. News is out and on the air. Shizzy Whiz nuts wild, but we don't care. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz nuts, start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Headlines spinning in the breeze. Stupid jokes, he's such a tease. Sip the Java, wear a smile. Pants are off, but stay a while. Morning Whiz and Coffee. Talk the news, he's a tease. Laugh it off, we're on the go. Shizzy Whiz, let's start the show. Let's go. Get it, yeah, oh yeah. Serious is overrated. Every day we're caffeinated. Talk the town, but in a jest. Morning Whiz is always best. Clock is ticking, time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop. Clock is ticking. time to run. Morning show's a load of fun. Grab your mug, don't spill a drop. Laugh your ass off till you pop.
Oh my god, Shizzy breaks Larry. Shizzy broke Larry.